Hello everyone, my name is Owain on the Thomas Rose channel and this is my brother.
Dewey.
And today we are going to be talking to you about Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now this was a TV show that ended in 2020?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and we have just finished watching it pretty recently.
About a week ago.
Yeah, as of recording this, of course.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go through like what we thought of it, who were our favourite characters, favourite things, and how this could potentially
affect like the MCU.
Yeah. So, do you want to start off?
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna go over just things what we like and sort of don't like, I guess, about each season and what they bring in the characters that we saw. You know, admittedly, when we went into this, it did take a while before I kind of got like more engrossed into
it,
what,
yeah.
because it definitely took a few episodes before you started to get, you know, attached to some characters and stuff like that. I think it was, what did we say? It was like just by the 10th episode or something like that, of season 1, something like that.
Yeah.
Because you've got Phil Coulson, who's the leader. Surprise, he's live. You've got Agent May, the Cavalry, as her nickname. You've got Ward, who you find out is high up Hydra later on. You've got Daisy, well, Sky at this point in time, but she's known as Daisy. You've got Fitz and Simmons, who are both scientists. And they are like the base star of the team, yes, in season 1.
Yeah.
And this season was all about, you know, the clairvoyant
and
the
centipede and all those
and stuff like that. So what did you think about season 1 then, and what it brought with the villains and the people we had?
I really enjoyed it, though I will have to say it got really good after the events of Winter Soldier. So from the episode where, you know, while Winter Soldier's happening, when Hydra's taking over, and beyond in that season was my favourite, because obviously that's when I guess really the conflict between Hydra and, well, what remained of S.H.I.E.L.D., the actual S.H.I.E.L.D., that's when that whole conflict and kind of war started. And that was kind of my favourite part of the season. But I like the whole mystery of the centipede and clairvoyant as well.
Yeah, well, that was interesting. No, I kind of agree. And, you know, Ward being part of Hydra, who was attached to the team later on, you know, was a bit of a shocker.
Plot twist.
Yeah, and, you know, the clairvoyant didn't have any powers. But I thought it was interesting introducing the Inhumans in this way, with their powers and stuff.
Yeah. So, and then obviously there was season 2, which really kind of, I guess, clarified the Inhumans, because you mainly teased at them in the first season, but this time, you know, they were actually
they're actually
there
a thing.
with Xialing and Daisy getting her powers, being like Quake. Obviously not known as Quake until 3rd season, but you know.
Yes, but she did get her powers about halfway through.
Yes.
And you introduced, like I say, her new characters, like her parents, who were kind of on the war path for a bit because of what Hydra did.
Yeah, and Whitehall.
Yes, his phrase of discovery requires experimentation. And
it was the 2nd season was my favourite out of all the seasons.
What, just because of Whitehall?
No, not just because of Whitehall, but because it was kind of like the start of the war between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra. Obviously, Coulson rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. You had the Inhumans and Daisy kind of coping with her powers. And it sort of ended the more militaristic Red Skull kind of Hydra, because that really ended with Strucker, and he died by the end of the season.
And it did add more characters, like Mac.
Yes.
And Hunter and Bobby.
Yes,
they were all cool characters.
Two of my favourites.
It's sad though, Trip died. I thought he didn't last very long.
Yeah,
halfway through season 1 to halfway into season 2. So it's like pretty much a season you had him for. And I'd say you're done with the guy. And I thought the guy was pretty cool, and they killed him off. I was like, what the hell? You had some plot twists, like, you know, the other S.H.I.E.L.D. that didn't believe Coulson should be leader.
Yeah. I kind of forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, didn't, you know, last
It didn't really
long.
make much of an impact,
No.
other than just adding a bit more padding.
Kind of weird why they just didn't talk to him, or, you know, just come up front, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. is supposed to be...
Though it was cool seeing, like, that Coulson was the one that built the helicarrier in Age of Ultron.
Yes, actually, because you do get those sort of references where he talks to Maria Hill about giving that information that leads the Avengers to Strucker's whereabouts in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And then obviously season 3.
Yes.
And obviously that had Hive and Gideon Malik.
Yes, so a lot more with the Inhumans, except Hive had the power to control Inhumans.
Yes.
I was on another planet imprisoned.
Yeah, last time we saw Bobby and Hunter, though, well, last time we basically saw them.
Yes.
And obviously Hunter made a cameo
in a future episode.
But that was pretty much the last time we saw them, which was sad. But...
Those are cool characters. It was Hydra involved again, but talking about the origins before even Red Skull.
Yeah.
And that I did like Hive's design though, as like the squid sort of.
Because they kind of based the logo of Hydra off of Hive.
It'd be interesting to know a bit more information on the lore and origin on the planet that he was on and the one that he kind of destroyed.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really said in that, to be honest. It's just unknown.
It was just kind of just a planet.
Yeah,
it was just a planet.
But it was a good season, though. It did affect Daisy because she was corrupted for a bit as well with her powers, I thought.
And obviously that's when she actually becomes Quake after Lincoln dies.
Yes, which affects her quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, and also Yo-Yo comes in.
Yeah, Yo-Yo as well. She's in there as well with her speed power. So except she comes backwards and forwards. But you also, this last season, where you see Ward as well as Hive.
Yeah, it's the last time we actually see Ward actually alive. And technically last time we see
Hydra. He was good as bad guy because, he's very cynical and, he always tried to, there's times he still tried to whittle his way inside, but then turned around and just...
just decided it wasn't for him.
But there was that torture scene back in, what was it, season 2?
Yeah, with Bobby.
Which was unbelievable. So, season 4 then?
Yes, with, Madam Hydra and the framework and all that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Ada, who is a robot, but Madam Hydra inside the framework. This involved now Ghost Rider as well.
Oh yeah, Ghost Rider.
At the beginning, which I thought I wasn't expecting. But Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider looked cool, like the animation and the flaming skull, obviously.
Yeah.
Kept true to all that. It was just interesting how they used Darkhold in this as well and integrated that into the framework.
Yeah.
And made basically this AI, who started off as an AI, become an LMD, as they called it, and then turned into a human.
Yeah.
With inhuman powers, actually, because she was that was actually mad that they turned someone like Fitz as well into a bad guy, Leopold.
Oh, yeah.
And then while they were in the framework, then the experiments that they did on the Inhumans, they took their DNA and then give it to her so she could then have all their, combined powers.
Yeah.
Which...
And also introduced the Russian, which I felt was too much like Craven, honestly.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh, yeah, I could see that happening.
Even looked like Craven
a
as
bit,
well.
Yeah, a bit like that. Cool, though.
Yeah.
And the season kind of ended pretty big, because obviously the framework got destroyed and stuff.
And then you had season 5 with Graviton. Well, they didn't actually call him that, but,
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I wasn't expecting General Talbot to become Graviton.
Yeah, but... He ended up becoming it, so... Yeah, and then you had, the whole future plot with the Earth being...
Is General Talbot in the comics Graviton?
I don't know.
That was a question to ask.
I guess we'd have to rewatch Earth's Mightiest Heroes to know the true identity, because he was in that.
It's just the way they went about it, though. His head was already messed up. He got shot in the head.
He should have died.
Then he had the whole, torture bit where he, had the compliancy thing. So 2 times his head was already kind of messed up. And then, he then fills his head with, more people in that, stasis tube thing. And I was like...
Graviton, and it's like...
It's like, how is this guy, even standing with all this stuff happening to him right now?
Yeah, because he's just a guy.
Yeah, and yet he somehow has the most power right now than
anyone there.
Yeah. But the rest of it was cool. It was just a bit weird.
Died.
I think the beginning bit interested me more when they went into the future, because every season they've done, they've always ramped up the stakes more and more. And the beginning of the season was the Earth destroyed, and you find out General Talbot would have been the one to do it, not Daisy.
By the end of it, yeah.
So
Coulson also dies.
Yeah, he dies. Coulson dies. That was interesting.
Because of the deal with Ghost Rider.
Yes, that he made, and it was killing him.
Yeah.
So then we're on to season 6.
Which was my least favourite season.
Not much happened. They cut the season in half and it felt kind of rushed.
It was just without Coulson, it just wasn't the same.
Well, yeah, it wasn't the same. Well, no, they called him Sarge. But,
yeah, he wasn't really Coulson though, was he?
No, I don't... No, I do agree with you there.
the best part about it was seeing Enoch and Fitz's relationship.
Yeah, I
and
liked
also
Enoch as a character.
the origin of the monoliths.
Yeah, I liked Enoch. In fact, actually,
Yeah.
I saw Enoch. If anyone's ever seen Red Wolf, I saw him as like a Crichton from Red Wolf. I know you won't.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But when they went into the future of season 5, I did think the whole like ship that they were on kind of reminded me of Red Wolf because they were basically a crew in space and there was a lot of things going on there as well. But that's like another story altogether. But yeah, Enoch was a cool character. You saw his develop with relationship with Fitz and stuff
Yeah.
go up. And yeah, it was an okay season in season 6, but honestly, I thought the bad guy wasn't.
It wasn't.
A bit weird with the whole things going inside your mouth and taking over.
Yeah,
what they called the strike. That was it. And then you ended it off with season 7.
Oh, how can we forget about Deke, by the way?
Oh yeah, Deke.
The future
the
grandson.
Silly, of Fitzsimmons, and also very silly character.
Kind of felt like he was the replacement for Hunter, just like a younger Hunter, basically.
True. Yeah, that's true. He came in looking like Star-Lord with the mask and stuff like that.
And then season 7, which was like time travel.
Yes.
I really liked the first 2 episodes because you find out why the Maliks were such a big deal in Hydra.
What season 7 does, it takes every season you've ever watched of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they've combined them somehow. They've managed to fit them all into this one season, and they've gone through every time skip that they've done. They've then gone into a different era where one of these seasons has taken effect in a different time period. Like, what was his name? The Freddy, was it?
Freddie Malik, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was just about to say. It explains in the first 2 episodes why the Maliks were such a big deal in Hydra, because obviously Freddie Malik was the one that made Red Skull basically, because he gave him
the DNA, the super soldier AM. And then what was funny is one Coulson said, to save S.H.I.E.L.D., we have to save Hydra. And I was like,
yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. Because this is the main bad guy's not Hydra in this, though. It's actually, what were they called? The Chromacons.
Yes, the Chromacons.
Which is the same species that Enoch is made from. And the Predictor as well. And they basically try to wipe S.H.I.E.L.D. from time itself by going back in time and stop them from ever existing.
Yeah, and obviously going through different time periods to try and do that.
Yeah. And the time loop episode, though. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, when Daisy kept constantly waking up from the tube and having to refix things they have for a certain amount of time, and I kind of like that stuff.
Yeah.
Episode.
And then LMD Coulson is also in this season.
Yes, they started the season off by giving basically this LMD with all of Coulson's memories and
personality, facial features.
Yeah.
Basically just Coulson. So yeah, and then obviously Nathaniel Malik was also there as a villain.
Oh,
and I honestly thought, because I searched this up on Google, Nathaniel Malik on Google is the main villain of season 7. So I thought he'd be far more sinister than he actually was. He was just kind of there, honestly.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, at first when you see him, I thought maybe he'd be the good one out of the brothers or something like, something like
I think
the good apple in a bad tree or something.
It kind of makes you think that in the 3rd season, but I guess it's like he more so believed. He didn't believe in the cult. He more so believed in Whitehall's Hydra.
I think what they did, though, is with the whole Daisy thing, like taking him hostage and stuff, has caused him to...
kind of go mental.
Yeah, but then that gives out like a TVA thing going on, like the whole like time stream splitting up because they created
because they created a branching
Which,
timeline.
by the way, the whole like blip and the TVA and stuff like that, because if they really did cause this thing, none of this ever gets mentioned at all. Thanos gets mentioned in season 5 with General Talbot, but that's all it is. It's a mention of battle. The whole blip and all that doesn't get affected.
Endgame and Infinity War weren't under such top secret that they weren't told about what would happen.
I mean, you could just say maybe in season 7 when they were going back in time and leading up to the point where maybe that's when the blip happened, and when they reached back into the future, that's when it was all over.
Yeah, it's like when they were in the past, Endgame was happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Fitz mentions the quantum realm, and that's how they, let's say, get back home, but we'll mention that when we get on to how that
maybe there
affects
could
the
be
MCU.
something, but they don't really go over it, it's not ever explored and stuff like that. So, overall, who would you say your favourite character is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Coulson, Daisy, or Hunter. One of the 3.
I would have to say Mac. Agent May, and Coulson.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't know if this will ever affect the MCU because it's not on the timeline. However, what it seems like is that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., at least to me, if it's canon or non-canon is completely up to personal opinion. And obviously, at the end of it, when Coulson is flying away, you can see the Triskelion in the background. And because things like Coulson Academy and Mac being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., we know it's not our universe, but in the past, which has led people to believe that when they jumped from the split timeline, they didn't go back to their universe, but instead skipped and went to an identical version, but one where S.H.I.E.L.D. never fell.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So it could be that maybe in Secret Wars they're brought in or something.
That's where I thought maybe in Secret Wars maybe they could be brought in, because technically none of this is canon, really.
It's not really canon. Apparently it's canon up until like season 4, and then when they go into the future, they go into an alternate universe future, and then when they go back into the past, it's of the universe's past.
I think maybe, who knows, in Secret Wars anything can happen.
Yes, and then when it's all rebooted, Coulson and Daisy and the Inhumans could come in.
And then Black Bolt because Black Bolt's maybe the leader of Inhumans, he was never
Yes.
mentioned, so they could be set up there later on, but we don't know yet. But I would think it'd be interesting if they brought them in later on.
Yeah.
Once again, though, it took definitely a few episodes to get into, but when you do somewhat get engrossed, and as more you get more into the story, it starts ramping up with every season, the stakes and stuff.
Yes.
Anything else to add?
No, except what would be like your like out of 10 thing for it?
Oh, if I'm gonna just do the whole thing all together, not season by season,
Yeah,
I'd
not
have to. Took a while to get into, but I'd probably give it an 8.
Yeah,
An 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10 as well
Yeah.
for me.
I think as you say, the 6th season wasn't as good. It was plus it's
Yeah.
shorter. I don't know. I kind of didn't like the direction of that one, to be honest. But it's season 7. They all departed. It ended off nice because they all lived and stuff like that, and they still meet up and everything.
Except for
Deku did stay in that universe.
Oh yeah, he did stay in that universe. Yeah,
and he was a guy out of time anyway, but now he's in a different universe.
Yeah, leading S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I did like his funny moments though.
Yeah.
Well,
so, that's going to be it from me, Owain, and my brother.
There we.
On the Thomas Bros channel, and I will catch you all in the next video. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.